Well, let's have a conversation about data and autonomous technology and much more on the farm and ranch. It is a ever-changing conversation as we find new pieces of equipment, new smart farming techniques, and so much more. A lot of producers are continuing to adopt new ideas and new practices and new pieces of equipment every single year. Here to tell us more about some of the things we are watching and talk about some of the things that farmers can control as we head into the end of the year and look ahead to 2026. He is Senior Director of North America Marketing for PTX. Caleb Schlater is with us here today. Caleb, it is great to talk with you. How are you, sir?
I'm doing great. It's great to talk with you, Jesse. Thanks so much for taking the time for this. I love talking about farming. I'm a little bit long-winded when it comes to that because I'm so passionate, but greatly appreciate you having us on.
Absolutely. Well, and this is a fun conversation for me because it seems like it continues to evolve day in and day out as more products are brought to market and more producers continue to add new things to their operation when it comes to data and autonomy and smart farming and just ag tech in general. Maybe we should start there. What is your feeling? What is your perception of where things stand when it comes to ag tech adoption on the farm as we're essentially into the back half of 2025, Caleb?
Yeah, that's a great question. I mean, I get a unique perspective. So I actually farm as well. So I work within PTX, but I also farm. So I've gotten to see our operation and many other operations really grow their technology usage on their farms, and it's really been an interesting thing. Auto guidance has been a key adoption curve where now you go through it, and almost every farm really relies on that technology in order to give them lower input costs and making sure that they're able to continue down the path of planning out their farms appropriately. But then we start talking about other pieces of technology that the farm is starting to adopt is how do we get better control? How do we get better insight? How do we start shining a flashlight onto our daily operations that allows us to make better decisions while we're in the cab? I mean, I look back to when I first started and when I was learning alongside of my dad and my grandpa, there were a lot of decisions that we couldn't make because we just didn't know. So we had to hope and we had to believe that we were doing it at the right time. Whereas now technology has started to bring us forward to where we can have certainty and we can reduce risk. And you're starting to see more and more farms adopt that technology to remove the risk, to remove the potential cost or to lower those inputs, or most importantly, improve the yields on their operation by introducing this technology.
Well, and thinking about all of this new technology and more, it's interesting thinking about where things stand in the farm economy right now and more. There's so many things that are out of farmers' control right now. I mean, cost of inputs, commodity prices, legislation on Capitol Hill, so many things that farmers don't really have control over. They have a voice in some ways, but not control. But they have control over the technology they're adopting on their operation, Caleb.
Yeah, I mean commodity prices. I mean, I get a text to my phone every day, and I'm almost gonna mute that because it's a struggle when you're trying to run an operation, when you're trying to leave a legacy for your family, to see those things and to hear all the noise that's going on outside of our family operation. There are things that we can do to control. There are ways that we can say, hey, what's an area that we see that we can get better in every year in order to improve our yields? And for us, we take a step back and we say, okay, emergence, for example, that's an area that potentially we need to improve upon so we can increase our yields. So we look at the technology that's going to help us improve emergence or efficiency. We look at, hey, how can our farm get more efficient? So then that way we can reduce our labor hours, reduce our cost of operation overall. And so it's about bringing technology in. And so like a really practical example of how we've looked at it is we've changed our tillage practice. We went from where we were broadcasting and spreading our fertilizer to now banding our fertilizer in a strip till program. Now we're able to be more precise and we're able to reduce the amount of overall cost of that input because quite frankly, we have to be smarter with every single acre. We have to be smarter with every single dollar in order for us to continue to find profit when we have some of these industry headwinds. And we know it's a cyclical business. We know that, hey, we're in a trough right now, but we see that there's going to be a rise, and we know there's going to be a rise. I've lived through it multiple times. It's a matter of how do we bridge that opportunity by reducing our inputs, increasing our yields, managing in a different way, and being smarter about it. That's how we're going to overcome these troughs. And that's really where our heart as PTX is first off, how can we help educate? How can we help educate farmers on how to overcome some of those headwinds? And so that's not always through technology. It's not always through products. It's also about how can we communicate? How can we teach? How can we show farmers there's a different way of doing things? And so we have locations all over that are focused on that, and our dealers are focused on that, making sure that we can walk onto a farm and bring value and bring an impact for them to extend their legacies. And then, oh, by the way, we do have a technology set that does lead to an ROI, that if you're looking to better this portion or this portion or this portion of your operation, we have things that we can bring to the table, whether that be autonomy or water management or planting technology or sprayer technology. We're really starting to see this large portfolio of PTX really come together and say, hey, no matter where you're at on your farm, we want to be helpful. We want to help improve that opportunity for you. And we have all of these different things that we can bring to the table to really help push you forward.
Caleb Schlater with PTX joining us here today for a conversation. So what excites you the most when we look at ag tech and new products and innovations? What should farmers be investing in? Thinking about the end of this year, getting into 2026, what's out there? What excites you the most, Caleb?
So I think what's exciting me the most right now is really looking at the ability to make decisions, one in the cab and two postseason. So I'll break it down. One in the cab, making decisions faster than what I can make them, right? Auto guidance is a great example of when we brought that to the market. I can't drive straight anymore. My grandpa can drive. I can't. I know that. If that goes out, I'm all over the place. But that was a way to simplify what we're doing in the cab, because there's a lot of things we've got to manage. Now, if we can continue to simplify the decision-making process by bringing sensors in and bringing insights in, that helps people in that process. So if I can make a better decision while I'm planting, which is the most important pass of the year, or I can make a better decision while I'm spraying and maybe reduce my inputs because, hey, now I don't have to use my brain to shut off sections. The sections are shutting themselves off. I don't have to use my brain to identify weed pressure. That sprayer is going to perform that task for me. And getting more and more of those tasks automated, in a way, automated to where I can help make decisions, but they're making the vast majority of decisions while I'm operating. That's where I get excited, because I get to see the potential for our farming operation that I'm decent, but man, bringing the technology in makes me so much more effective. Then we talk about kind of outside of the season, outside of the cab. What really gets me excited is now we have technology and tools that are sensing and understanding what's going on and then feeding that back into data platforms. So we look at Panorama, which is tied to our 2020 from PTX and Precision Planting product line. That Panorama is a good agronomic tool for individuals outside of season. Once you've gone and planted, there's value to look at it while you're planting so you can make any adjustments necessary. But you get through planting, you get through spring, you get to harvest, and you get to see all of the fruits of your labor come together. And then you get to understand, hey, why did we have down yield in this area? We've never seen that before. What was going on? Was it a planter pass issue? Was it a sprayer pass issue? And then that can inform the activities and the things that we do in the off season. I'll give you one honest example that I'm a little embarrassed to talk about. Row 12 for us this year in planting, the starter fertilizer was plugged and we didn't catch it in time. And so that is one of the things that drives me crazy. Utilizing a data platform where I'm going back through and looking at my maps would have identified, hey, you've got an issue there. But I didn't catch it early enough. So then as I'm going through side dressing, of course, row 12 is the row that I get to see all day long. But now having that technology to go back and say, hey, I could have avoided that. And how do I make sure that I maintain my equipment in order to make sure that those risks are taken out? Now, you're always going to have risks, but doing that proactive maintenance is so important. And using the data to inform the equipment, using the data to inform your management practices, using the data to inform your fertilizer or your chemistry. I mean, all of those things, we just need to start unlocking how we use it. And that's one of the things that as PTX, we're wanting to inform farmers. Hey, this is how you look at a map. This is how you understand what you can use. For the longest time, we looked at yield maps just as pretty pictures. They're not, they're actually evidence and allowing you to see how can I be better. And that's really what we want to get to.
And I think about this generational shift that is occurring on the farm or about to occur. Yeah, I saw a stat the other day that well over 2/3 of Iowa farms in general are owned by someone 65 or older. And so we know this generational shift is coming in who's operating and owning the farm. And I think ag tech is going to be aiding right along in some of that generational shift. Would you agree, Caleb?
Yeah, I think it's going to be a massive impact to the generational shift. I mean, I'm a great example of that generational shift. The benefit that the next generation of farmers has is we've grown up with technology. We've grown up with the simplicity, the insight that we're gaining, and we trust technology a little bit more. Now, that's one side of the coin. The other side of the coin is the advancements that are coming out of companies like PTX are beyond what we could have ever dreamed about even 10, 15 years ago. When we start talking about automation, we start talking about water management. I mean, there are things that we're getting to learn that as long as we apply technology to them, we're able to make some really key decisions. Water management, for example, which is, PTX Trimble has a water management software suite and solution that allows you to effectively go look at your land and say, where am I losing potential? And it's all done through technology. And so for me on our operation, we looked at it and we said, hey, we actually, I had a field that I had just started farming about 5 years ago, that 11 acres, it was drowning out. No matter what I did, it was always drowning out. And so by bringing in the ability to survey that ground, understand where my low points are, and then come in and surface drain. We didn't even tile, but surface drain, which is a great way to manage water, allowed us to, now I see that 11 acres come back and I get to grow crop on that. So that's all upside for me there. And so thinking through how these technology pieces aid and grow our operation for every individual looking to take a step into their farm, it's going to be a huge aspect. And our generation can bring that value. That's the other thing that I loved when I stepped into our farm, is I brought the value of being able to utilize technology to a further extent than potentially what my grandpa or my dad has done. And that's been a really fun dynamic for our family, because now you have grandpa who has all the experience in the world, you have dad who's grown the business, and then I get to bring in this technology element. Like, that's the value I get to be a part of in growing for the next legacy of our farm and the next generation of our farm.
This has been a fun conversation and great insight, Caleb. Anything final you'd share as we wrap it up, or anything you'd reiterate just about the work that is going on at PTX Trimble? Anything else you would add for folks today?
The one thing I just can't tell you how excited I am for the future of agriculture. Like, this is really an interesting time. I know there's a lot of headwinds. I know there's a lot of things going on that we can't control, as we talked about earlier. But the advancements that are happening, and the insights and the agronomy insights, the scientific understanding of things, all of these things that are helping young farmers and even seasoned farmers get better day to day is so much fun. And I am certainly proud to be a part of an organization who focuses in on the farmer and wants to educate and wants to bring this technology to the forefront. And so for us, you know, we want to extend anybody to come and visit us at whether it's our website or whether it's an event that we do at our precision technology institutes that are around the world, as well as Farm Progress. Just come talk to us. We love talking with farmers. We love educating farmers. Our dealers are amazing, and we love being a part of this this wave of technology that's going to further the family farm, further all farms for agriculture.
Well, I know folks can go to ptxtrimble.com for more information. With that, Caleb Schlater, Senior Director of North America Marketing for PTX. Thanks for the time today. Appreciate the conversation. We'll look forward to talking again real soon.
Yeah, I appreciate you as well, Jesse. It was great chatting with you.